Good evening. Normally at this time I would be introducing you to annual fundraising banquet for Psalm 82.3, but this is 2020, and in 2020 things are different. So with COVID, we've had to get creative. So this year we are welcoming you to Banquet in a Box. Tonight we're going to open up your hearts and your minds to what is taking place with Psalm 82.3 ministry. And especially this year we have some special guests that are going to help us do that. Ryan Lemon and Jared Polson, who will be sharing with us about being champions. We are calling tonight Champions for a Cause. Jared is one of the members of the 2012 National Championship Kentucky Wildcat basketball team. Ryan Lemon is a champion in his own right through his efforts to help foster kids. And so tonight we want to share with you a few moments about being a champion for our cause, Psalm 82.3 mission in Liberia.
Hey, Ryan Lemon here from Kentucky Sports Radio, and I'm honored to be joined by a guy, familiar face to a lot of basketball fans here in the Lexington area, Jared Polson, former West Jessamine basketball star and also NCAA national champion as a member of the 2012 UK National Championship basketball team. Jared, how you doing? Good to see you again, man.
I'm doing well. It's good to see you as well. I'm glad we're able to do this.
I call you like a hometown hero, but you're from Jessamine County.
I am from Jessamine County.
And people get mad if we say you're from Wilmore. People in Nicholasville get mad.
I know.
And if we say you're from Nicholasville, people in Wilmore are mad. So where?
I just want to set the record straight.
Yes.
I'm from Wilmore.
From Wilmore.
I'm sorry to the Nicholasville people, but that's what it said on every UK thing my whole career.
That's right, from Wilmore.
So I got to make sure everyone knows I'm from Wilmore.
But you grew up right in the shadows of UK, playing for West Jessamine. Had an incredible career there. Probably played on maybe the best team West Jessamine's ever had. That run that you guys had. I mean, that had to be fun.
It was a lot of fun. Honestly, some of the best memories of my life. And growing up in Wilmore, like Kentucky was the big school that I rooted for. I mean, my dad's from Harlan County, so you understand, like Kentucky was all we watched as growing up. So for me to be able to go to Kentucky as a kid from the small town of Wilmore was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah, you had to wonder, is Kentucky ever going to come calling? Here I am, I'm playing the shadows of UK.
Yep.
John Calipari's, I guess he wasn't even here yet, right? When you first were getting ready to get recruited?
No, I came in his second year, so he was just getting started out. Yeah.
So you got to wonder when the recruiting process is starting, is Kentucky going to come calling? Are they going to come after me? Mm-hmm. And finally you get that call, they want you.
It was pretty wild. My mom always was the realist in our family that said, you have a 1 in a billion chance to go to Kentucky. My dad was the other side where he said, you can achieve your dreams and all that, but I'll never forget the time Coach Calipari called me. I was sitting outside my driveway and he said, you got a spot on the team if you want it. And I about peed my pants at that moment. That's Coach Calipari to me. But that was, one of the coolest moments of my life, getting that phone call from a random number that I thought was Coach Calipari, and it was. And it was literally surreal. It was awesome.
And you look at the guys that you got to play with over your career. Have you ever really thought about, you look at the guys, they all ended up in the NBA. How many guys did you end up playing with that actually ended up in the NBA? Have you counted?
I have not counted. I actually need to do that, write it on paper. Probably about 20.
At least?
I was going
to say, it's probably pushing 20 guys.
It might be, yeah, it's crazy. And see, all I got to do is turn on the TV now and watch the NBA playoffs flooded with these guys that I played with, which is awesome.
So you play on this championship team at West Jessamine. You guys win the region championship, go to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
And then in 2012, you play on an NCAA championship team.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The little guy from Wilmore is a champion.
It was honestly awesome to be part of that team. The guys like Anthony Davis, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, growing up a Kentucky Wildcat fan, just playing games in my little tyke school as a kid, like pretending I was a Kentucky Wildcat champion. And then being able to play on that team was like the confetti coming down in the Final Four and all these grown men jumping up and down screaming like little girls. Like that was one of the greatest moments of my life.
You mentioned Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. They went number 1 and number 2 in the draft that year.
Yep.
And you're in the huddle with them. You're on that team.
Hanging out, rapping with them in the kitchen. Yeah. It's crazy.
So, and now Anthony Davis is still a champion, still in the NBA. Got a chance to win another championship. Got a chance to win his first championship with the Lakers now this year.
Right.
What is it about him that makes him a champion?
Anthony is one of the coolest stories I think I've ever seen. Like a lot of people just see Anthony as some freak of nature. He's was 6'3" junior year of high school and then grew 8 inches. But I saw Anthony just in the matter of about 9 months he was on UK's campus. He was the hardest worker I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, whether it was in the morning, late at night, 12 o'clock with Kenny Payne, just the whole time he was here was like a business trip, and he was just getting better every day. And I think that's the side that people don't see, but that was the side that I got to see like an inside look at. And that's the reason I think he's one of the best players in the world now. Obviously he has some skill, but he took that skill and he worked extremely hard at it from then on. And now you look and you're right, hopefully he's going to get that championship in the NBA.
All your years of playing basketball, you mentioned you started when you were a little guy. Were there some coaches that helped mold you, not just as the player you became, but the person you are today? Were there some obviously your dad played a big role in your life, but were there some coaches also that helped mold you to the person that you are today also?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as a kid, even in basketball, when I was one of the best players on my team up until college, I always had confidence issues in myself. So I remember my high school coach, Coach Hammonds, was the first kind of coach that really just instilled confidence into me, saying like, "Hey, man, you're the real deal. You need to go out and play like it." And then when I think of coaches, Kenny Payne, I mean, you hear that story all the time. Kind of the hidden hero of UK basketball. And unfortunately, he's gone to New York now, but he was also a guy that he was tough on you, but at the same time, he would instill confidence in you and let you know that you could really go out there. And that he was the same for me as he was for Anthony Davis, as he was for literally every guy that's gone through UK. So those are probably the two coaches that really stick out to me that like helped me progress in my basketball and life.
Now you're an old man.
I am.
Now you're married.
Yeah.
Now you got a new role. Now you're a dad. Got a little baby.
Little baby.
What about that?
It's the best. Everyone always told me being a parent is the best. It is completely true. I got a little 9-year-old little girl, or not 9 years, 9-month-old little girl.
9-month-old.
9-year-old would be a little different story.
Don't have her grow
9
up that
months.
fast.
Yeah, they say they grow fast. But she just turned 9 months the other day. Her name's Avery, and me and Ariel, my wife, are just over the moon about her. Just every little new detail that comes, it's literally the best thing in the world.
See, you're playing a zone right now. You're playing 2-on-1 zone.
Correct.
Wait till you have another one.
I've heard.
You got to play man to man.
And then
it gets crazy.
and then it goes zone the other way.
That's
I've heard,
true. Yeah.
So that's exciting. But yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm not the only dad here in the room. I know that you're a dad of 3 children, and I know your daytime job is to interview champions, but you are quite the champion on your own. Tell us a little bit about your family, and I know you adopted 3 kids, and tell us a little bit about that and how you've championed that.
I've got 3 boys, all 3 adopted. I've got a 22-year-old that I've adopted with my first marriage, okay. And it's been tough because he just left Lexington. He's Valentine's Day weekend. He packed up and moved to Atlanta.
Wow!
So it's been tough.
I'm sure.
It's dad's got to say goodbye.
Yeah.
You'll get that someday. So my oldest son, who's been my heart, packed up and left town
to Atlanta.
Went to Atlanta. He's going to film school down there.
Okay.
There's a film school where you get to Pinewood Studios, but you have to go to this film school to be able to work in the studios. And of course, they're shut down now with COVID.
Right.
That's where he's at. And I have an 18-year-old with my new wife Amanda, and we've adopted him through foster care. He was a foster child here in Lexington, and at 3 years old, we adopted him, Michael. He's now 18, and even though I'm 54 years old, I have a 13-year-old who we adopted through foster care. He was 3 years old. We adopted him, Lexington, foster child. He's an 8th grader at Leestown Middle School.
Wow.
He's my basketball player.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my baller.
Okay.
So if you still got connection with Coach Cal, maybe dial him
just
up.
put in a word.
Yeah, telling you when to come check him out.
Okay.
So he can play a little
13.
bit.
Yeah. So I put him in eighth grade.
8th grade.
Okay.
8th grade. Yeah. So I got 3 boys, and God has blessed me.
Yeah.
He really blessed. I mean, there was a time in my life, Jared, where I didn't think I was ever going to be able to be a dad. And through the wonderful world of adoption, he blessed me with these 3 boys.
Wow.
And now I know why my path led me this way. I mean, I was meant to be a dad to these 3 boys, and I just know that's the way my path led me to be there.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's an awesome story. And I know you're a wonderful dad, looking from the outside in, so that's really cool. When we're talking about champions tonight, I know you've interviewed a lot of champions on your own. Who are some of those champions that really stick out to you? Some of your favorite interviews? I know that's a tough question.
Yeah. Well, the one that I always say is I actually got to interview Tiger Woods.
Wow.
And the PGA Championship was at Valhalla, and it was a practice round. And at the end of his practice round, he was supposed to get off the 18th green and go up through this chute and then go left. And all the media was up here,
Yeah.
left, like ESPN, Fox Sports, all the major sports people were up here. Well, I was, and a couple like local people were over here to the right, because we couldn't get up there with all the big dogs.
Right. You didn't have the full-time credential.
No way. You know, we weren't going to be able to crowd in there and get all that. So, and this is when Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods.
The real deal,
The
not
real
when he
deal.
was younger
Not
and
now.
working. Okay.
You know, this is when he was Tiger Woods.
Prime Tiger Woods.
So my photographer and I, we were just kind of just standing there and just trying to shoot him walking. As he comes walking off the 18th green, and he walks right up to our camera and looks right at me, like, I'm ready. So boom, I just started firing questions at him, and I had him to myself for like 3 or 4 questions. And the whole time I'm talking to him, all the other national media, you know, they're breaking down their cameras and hurrying down to where we are, trying to get in Tiger Woods. But for a couple seconds, Jared, I had the one-on-one with Tiger Woods there for a little bit. That was probably my biggest thrill.
I would say so.
Yeah, I wasn't ready, but you know, with that moment, you're just like, blah, 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 blah.
Right, yeah, I'm sure you're a little starstruck, but
Oh,
you became
huge
professional in the
starstruck.
moment. Did you
Oh, yeah,
handle yourself
yeah.
well, or
You know, I had my Alan Cutler tricks, you know, that I learned.
those are always good to have
yeah,
Alan Cutler
Alan
tricks
Cutler
in the
tricks.
back of your pocket?
And I'll tell you this, one of my other favorite interviews was I actually got to interview my dad.
Hmm.
My dad was a high school basketball coach in Indiana, and then when he retired, he became athletic director. And when I started working in the media at a TV station in Evansville, we did this little series about how attendance at high school basketball games was dwindling. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know, I was interviewing some local in Evansville coaches and athletic directors. I thought, you know, I'm going to go interview my dad. He was an athletic director up in Pike Central, which is like an hour away from Evansville.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Interview my dad and put him on the local news that night. So that was probably one of my other favorite interviews
Awesome.
I ever did. Yeah.
So Tiger Woods and your dad.
Tiger Woods and my dad.
Two really good people.
Oh, and Jared Polson.
I was going to say, I didn't
Yeah.
want to mention anything, but I was going to preface the question
Yeah.
besides me,
Yeah.
who were your favorite
Yeah, 'cause I don't,
interviews?
See,
That's
you
for
don't
great-
remember all those cameras in your face when you were the West Jessamine superstar back in the day.
I remember you.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. So when you've interviewed all these champions, are there certain characteristics or things that maybe they've all had in common, or that you say, you know, that guy's just a champion? What do you think they all have in common, or what strikes you when you're talking to a champion?
See, that's a great question, because the guys who are champions, and you kind of said that about Anthony Davis,
Mm-hmm.
they just put in that extra work, that extra effort. There's just something about them, and you just know, like Tayshaun Prince had it when he was
Mm-hmm.
here. They're just, you just know being around them that they're going to succeed. They're just the way they carry themselves, the way they talk to the media, the way they act around the coaches and their teammates and the media. There's just something about that confidence.
Yeah.
And you look at those guys, they're successful in life. You know, it's not just their success on the court, it's the way they are off the court, in the locker room. Like, you know, we're around you guys a lot in the locker room during the NCAA tournament and things, and we see how you act, and you see how some guys are acting kind of crazy and immature.
No.
Yeah, but then you look at some guys are acting mature and responsible. Well, those are the guys who are successful in life, man. Those are the
Right.
leaders.
Right.
Those are the ones that are successful.
Yep.
And those are the ones who are champions. Anthony Davis, perfect example.
Perfect
You know,
example.
and that's why you were talking about him.
Right.
You know, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, another one that I remember him just being you know, what a great guy, you know, he was to be around. I thought, you know, the twins, when they were here, I thought they took a lot of slack from the fans, but I thought, you know, off the court, they were just perfect gentlemen.
Right.
You know, and I think that's a characteristic you've seen a lot of these guys that end up being very successful people.
Wow.
You know?
I would.
Do you agree?
I would completely agree. Anthony Davis is the prime example in my situation. I mean, he came in as an 18-year-old, and I felt like he was a grown man in a sense, where he knew what he wanted. He fought through difficulties. He just had that air about him that, like you put it, you can't pinpoint it, but you just know a champion when you see one. So that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I appreciate taking some time to chat. Is there any last words about champions or anything else that you'd like to say to all these virtual banquet attendees?
You know, there's something about a champion, and I think even that I've seen, and you'll see it with your kids growing up, even at a young age, there's something about it, you can just tell it when they walk on the floor. Did you know what I'm talking about? Like if it's a baseball game or a basketball game or a football game, I don't know if it's just God touches some kids sometimes, and they just have that it factor. You hear coaches sometimes talk about that it factor.
Right.
And I hope sometimes their parents can help them with it and they don't mess it up. Sometimes I see kids, I know they've got it, and they get in trouble or they ruin their lives. They mess it up, man. I wish I could just talk to them about it. And they need a guy like Jared Polson that could advise them in life sometimes. I know they've got it, and they just get around some wrong people sometimes and lose their way.
Yeah. I think there is an it factor, but there's also some external factors that, if you can get around the right people, the right mentors, and you have that right work ethic, I think it's a combination of all of those things that some people just have it and some people don't. So appreciate it again. This was great talking to you, and we'll send back to Matt.
All right.
has given us 50 acres in Liberia, Africa. Liberia is the poorest country on planet Earth. The current statistics of Liberia are close to an 89% unemployment rate, nearly 70% illiteracy rate, and more than 50% of girls experience abuse on a daily basis. There is so much heartbreak and need that we invite you into this cause, and we're so thankful that God has given us 50 acres in Liberia to develop into a safe children's village and a self-sustainable community center. Right now, so many things are happening in Liberia on this property that we are super excited to share with you what those updates are. Some of those updates include opening our first foster home. Foster home means that we walk alongside of the families to help equip them and raise them up and hope to reunify them with their kids. The self-sustainable community center already includes a church and is working on some school and tutoring happening with the children who are coming to the Shelter Church. The Shelter Church has around 100 adults that meets actually right behind me in what you see is this open air shelter. And currently around 100 adults meet in this on a Sunday and a Wednesday. But throughout this year and in 2019, my sister, Tammy Dillon, was a missionary in Liberia. And she partnered with another guy named Melvin. Melvin and Tammy saw the need to start a children's ministry. That children's ministry started with 30 kids, and then it grew to 70. And after it grew to 70, the team realized that they better gather some different resources together and put a permanent structure in place on the property. They built a 41-foot Palava Hut so that they could grow and raise up new leaders in Liberia through the gospel of Jesus Christ. That ministry has grown to almost 170 kids on a weekly basis, and they're having conversations every day about how to divide and how to serve those children. Serving those children also includes this free tutoring program, as schools are still currently closed in Liberia. We offer some simple tutoring in math and reading and writing. We offer that for preschool all the way up through 3rd grade. But at the same time, we just converted our storage building into a medical clinic and main office. That medical clinic is seeing around 15 patients on a weekly basis, and most of the cases are centered around this very difficult disease to handle called malaria. Tonight, I just want to invite you into this journey. I want to invite you to sit back, relax, enjoy the conversations, enjoy learning about what God is doing in Psalm 82:3 mission and what he's doing for his children in Liberia, Africa. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the end of this video.
Psalm 823. Defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. Hello, my name is Melvin P. Conner, and I'm Kids Church Minister, Shelter Church, Psalm 823 Mission. I just want to tell you what I have seen God doing through the Psalm 823 Mission in Liberia. Firstly, with Psalm 823, I met Psalm 823 Mission team, like the team that was on ground, Maurice Freeman, and later on since Tammy came over, I was volunteering, and then for short, my life was really different from what it is right now. I was living that wayward life, and then now I'm happy that at least I can be called a Kids Church minister. Now let's look at what the ministry have been doing in the communities. The ministry have been helping with scholarships. They've been helping with community service like feeding. We have been helping in different areas, and even after the coronavirus came and took over and the school closed, we were able to organize a study class which is ongoing right now. We have all of our kids from Kids Church and the kids in the community coming every day of the week from Monday to Friday from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. We have classes running every day, and we are there trying to make sure that they don't lose anything during this time because schools are all closed. And we have been doing God have been doing great through every one of you there that have been supporting the nation to be able to do what it's doing right here. I just want to bless God for you. I just want to thank you for what you have been doing. I just want you to continue and know that whatever you have been donating, whatever you have been sending to Liberia have been used to develop people's lives, to be able to impact lives in Liberia here. It's so amazing to know that children now can at least speak English. Those that couldn't speak English, they can speak English. They can know about Jesus. The Kids Church is growing now. We have 160 kids coming in every Sunday. So we've been taking people to the hospital and all of that. Now, before the beginning of this month, which is October, the country as a whole had a health problem, which is all of the nurses and doctors refused to go to work. So there's no area for correct medical treatment right now in Liberia. And we are so blessed that we are able to have our mini clinic that can help the community, like our surrounding right here, that can be able to help them through some minor health problems. Those major ones we have not seen it of recent, but at least the ones that are coming, we can at least help through the grace of God that He provided this little clinic here, that we can reach out to people in the communities and be able to help the sick people. So I just want to bless God for you. I want to bless God for your family. I want to say continue doing what you're doing and be blessed in Jesus' mighty name.
A special thank you goes out to Greg Casson and his team at Unified Trust, where their goal is to help your financial decisions become successful. We're thankful that they've partnered with us as a presenting sponsor for tonight's banquet, and we hope that you'll check out what they're doing over at Unified Trust.
I'm Bleedy E. Morris, Senior Project Manager, Psalm 823. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
I'm Brother Inoke Dewo, serve as groundkeeper and also agricultural boss. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
I'm Saint V. Bena. I'm an agriculturalist. I defend the weak and the fatherless. I'm Moses Botu Young. I'm Chief of Security. For Side 3, I defend the weak and fatherless.
My name is Emmanuel Joa. I'm security from the security department. I'm a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
I'm Joseph D. Sanga. I'm a security desk sergeant. I defend the weak and the fatherless.
Daniel Darwin, security. I'm a champion. Defense the weak of the fatherless.
My name is Robert Williams, security for Psalm 823. I'm a security. I'm a champion. I defend the weak and the fatherless.
My name is Marina Sams. I'm the ag intern for Psalm 82:3 mission. I originally became connected through Liberia a couple of years back when I was a teenager, and I've been coming ever since. I love Liberia and I love the people. My family, friends that are missionaries, Joe and Marie Liway, connected me to Matt Lee and Psalm 82:3 mission. I was very excited as I was in college and really looking for some mission to use my degree, my environmental science degree, to help with agriculture and work with kids and their families here. So God has been blessing and showing me the way as I've been doing my best to lead, which is something that I am not used to and a little bit uncomfortable with, but thank God that He's been working through me, and He's been working with the Liberians too, and we've been able to plant our very first garden and help the surrounding communities and families, and we've also been able to help feed the new kids that just came in the foster home this past week. So I just want to say thank you, and God has been great, and God is great all the time.
Yeah. My name is Tiwon Dipe, social worker at Psalm 82:3 Mission. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
I'm Marcia Hines. I'm a head mother at Psalm 823. I'm a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
Richard Dixon. I'm the auntie. I defend the weak and the fatherless. My name is Ruthie Peters, one of the auntie. I'm a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
Eunice T. Roberts, auntie. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
I enjoy Faye, auntie, because I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
My name is Agatha Morris. Aunties, I am the champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
I'm Justina Bihime, one of the aunties. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
As a mother too, I am a nice. I am a champion. I defend the weak and the fatherless.
Samuel Panton is my name. I'm the pastor of the Shelter Church on the Psalm 83 mission land. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
My name is Melvin P. Corner Sr. I'm the Kids Church minister, Psalm 83 Shelter Church. I am a champion because I defend the weak and the fatherless.
We want to say thank you to our friends over at Guide Realty. Raquel Carter and her incredible team. I know them firsthand because they've helped me buy and sell a house. So go over and check out Guide Realty. They've been one of our sponsors for tonight's banquet, and their job is to guide you home. Check them out.
Hello from here in Liberia. I just wanted to share a little with you today about my experience here this past year and ask you to join me in prayer for the Psalm 82:3 ground here in Liberia. My heart continues to break as I see my people suffering here. There are so many heartbreaking stories: abuse, neglect, starvation, death, no education, no clothing, fear, control by a secret satanic society. The list could go on. I know things aren't easy or perfect in the U.S., and I know the crisis has made life more difficult for many of you. But today, we can all thank God that we don't live in fear the way people in these villages do. People are not safe here. Few are lucky enough to have a job. If they do, their small income is expected to support everyone else without a job. When things are well, they get one meal of rice a day. But there are so many days that parents will send their children to bed with an empty belly. Diseases like malaria, typhoid, and measles that are easily treated and prevented are a normal cause of death for children here. There is one small hospital about 20 minutes away. I wish I could show it to you, but no cameras are allowed there. Let's just say it's not a place we can imagine depending on if you're sick. There are no windows, no screens. Flies, mosquitoes are everywhere. It's severely understaffed. It depends on generator power. That means there's no power when there's a gas shortage or lack of funds to buy gas. There's no money to keep things clean or sterile. It's bathed in corruption. But even with all those problems, the hospital could save many children's lives, but they can't get there. They can't pay the $1 it would take to get transportation there, or the $1 to be seen at the hospital to get registered. Because child death is so common, parents don't want to bond strongly with their children. After all, a heart can only be broken so many times. So they protect themselves by not loving too deeply, which of course makes the problem worse. Children are raised in a village where they're not only suffering from physical needs being unmet, but the need and desire for emotional love and support are not met either. these villages are full of heartbreak. But there is good news. Great news, actually. God is moving here. He's preparing something bigger than any of us can imagine. In the middle of all these villages that are controlled by the secret satanic Zoe Society, God has taken control of these 50 acres. The Psalm 82:3 property has been claimed for Christ. We have prayed over every inch of this land, and we rebuked Satan's authority. Right in the heart of devastation and heartache, God has planted a seed of hope for his people. This land provides work and income for people who are hopeless. It provides a church where adults and children can come and learn about a loving and gracious God who cares for them. This land will provide a safe place for children who are suffering. It will provide education for children who've never had a single book read to them. This land will provide classes and conferences for adults covering topics like abuse, marriage, parenting, and teaching godly biblical principles. Above all else, this land will be a place where God's presence is invited and dwells. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your love and support. Please consider how you can help. Pray with us. Join a mission team to come see it for yourself. Join as a financial partner. Donate items to send. Do whatever it is that God is calling you to do. We love you all, and we can't wait to see how God will use you as a part of his story here in Liberia. God bless.
Time together, we've looked at what does it mean to be a champion? What does it take to place yourself in a situation where you are dependent upon others so that there is no way that you can take credit for the success or what happens in the end? For the University of Kentucky and for other championship teams to become the best of the best in their particular years, they had to set simple goals that allowed them to achieve a greater success. Simple goals like win a certain number of games, and then win enough games to get into the tournament, and win enough games in the tournament to win the championship. Throughout God's Word, there's multiple times where there are champions considered. There's champions like Moses, who probably didn't really want to be called by God. He was doing well to be a shepherd out taking care of his flock when God told him to take off his sandals and meet him at the burning bush. And then God gives him this call to go in to reach the people, the Israelite people, in this huge place called Egypt that Moses would have been very familiar with. A very daunting task then to lead 3.5 million people out of Egypt. There's this other guy named David. And David was a simple shepherd boy, and God pricked his heart and challenged him to take a stand even though he was young and even though he probably was ill-equipped with just a few small stones and a little tiny sling, to step onto the battlefield and believe that God could do something bigger. And that day, David became this great champion. David then trained up many other champions. In fact, God's Word even gives us a story about the champions that they called the mighty men of David. And then we see throughout the Old and the rest of the New Testament, we see how Jesus stepped into this situation where we were sinners and we were broken, and without Jesus, we had no hope for an eternity. And Jesus became our champion. He became our Savior when he left high and he came down to earth to save us, to rescue us. He chose to defend us. And Psalm 82:3 mission is built on this promise in God's Word to defend the weak and the fatherless and uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. What does it mean to defend? It means to take your life. It means to take your stance on the battlefield and say that I will not accept this happening to any other human being. In a simple school setting, that might be taking a stand against a bully. But in this situation, it means that we have the poorest country on planet Earth depending upon us, that we will take a stand on the battlefield and we will accept the challenge that God has given us to step in and develop this Safe Children's Village. This Safe Children's Village, which is surrounded by this deep cultic society called the Zoe, who wants nothing more than to come in and force our young girls to experience female mutilation. Can we allow that to happen? Can we allow that in the comforts of our own home? Am I okay with knowing that this is happening in our world and knowing that I chose not to defend? Well, defending is one thing. That means putting a block in between harm's way and the victim. We want to be that defender. We want to step into this with God's help, with God's leading, because ultimately we're not really the defenders. Really what we're doing is we're just stepping into what God's word is saying, which is saying that God is the defender of the weak. God is the one who upholds the cause of the poor and the oppressed. So what does it mean to uphold? It means to lift up, to raise up. This year has been an incredible year. This year has been an incredible year because we've been able to step into situations with people through our incredible and wonderful missionaries, Tammy and Sis Miranda. Miranda was on the ground to focus on agriculture. She was there for 3 months and then got to stay for another 3 months because of COVID. And then she followed that with a deeper call to go back to Liberia on a full-time basis. Tammy went originally just out of obedience for what God was calling her and her 3 incredible and beautiful kids to do. And when she was there, she became the project manager, a project manager that Lynn led and built this incredible team of nearly 18 full-time workers. They did tons of things with this team, and they continued to build up and raise them up. I love having phone calls and conversations with each of our team members throughout each week when I meet with them on Tuesdays. And I love seeing how God is raising these people up, how He indeed is the one equipping the saints for the works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up. Tonight, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. In your boxes, in your banquet in a boxes, there's a commitment card. Now, tonight's about financial because we have this huge goal for 2021. See, when we're stepping in and defending the weak and the fatherless and upholding the cause of the poor and the oppressed, to be honest, we don't feel like we have time to wait around for COVID to decide what direction it's going to go. There are people on the ground that we want God to help right now. And so to do that, we're stepping in and we're taking a huge leap as a team, and we're saying 2021 is the year that we start setting some major goals. Goals to open a K through 2 school. Goals to take this 50 acres and begin to start a solar project. And goals to finish the funding of our mission and staff house so that our missionaries can be on the ground with our team directly, and so can a staff couple. We have so many goals in mind that we can't even process them all. But this has nothing to do with us. Here's what we believe. We believe that God said that we should trust in Him with all of our heart. We should not lean on our own understanding, but in all of our ways, we will acknowledge Him and He will make our path straight. We are so thankful that you have given up some moments of your life to spend time with us in this virtual banquet. But now, I ask that you dig deep. I ask that you challenge yourself. And I ask that you look around to your friend and you look around to your spouse or who you came with to this banquet. And you ask the question, more importantly to God, how would you have me step in and defend the weak, and the fatherless. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us. I can tell you what the Liberian brothers and sisters say all the time. To God be the glory. God bless.